Good evening and welcome to the R2R Broadcast Network live coverage from the Road to Pro Series, the fun Road to Pro Series, Nashville Superspeedway. Under the lights, it's the Country Music Tribute 220. Another great night of action from Fun Road to Pro Series. Every Thursday night we gather together here for another race, and it's no different here tonight. Under the lights, fighting for that virtual guitar that's always known for being that trophy over at Nashville. Who's going to come out on top tonight? That's the question in everybody's minds. My name is Zachariah Cartledge. As always, I will take you through the entire night of action live on the R2R Broadcast Network. We appreciate all of y'all being here. Checking out the info tonight, we have some important news. Starting tonight, it's the first round of the Tommy's Dash for Cash. 4 rounds, 1 winner. Sponsored by Tommy's Fire and Safety. The top 4 finishers last week at Charlotte were the people who are nominated now for the 4 drivers fighting for the $10 tonight. That's tonight at Nashville, and obviously top 4 finishers will then do the same thing next week at Michigan. We'll talk more about that soon. Checking out your point standings, so important. Ty Bostic up to 60 points led over Stephen Kirby. Tell you what, the more that gap keeps growing, the less and less anybody else can really say anything for that top spot, the 22 machine. Stephen Kirby not in attendance tonight. That's going to even boost Bostic even more. So watch out for him. Marty Calvert, Zach Ward, William Karn, your top 5. Tell you what, that's all the information I have. Let's go ahead and go back to the opening though, because we want to check out some of our pre-race info as well. Ticking over to the main broadcast so far tonight. Here we go. Fun Road to Pro Series Country Music Tribute 200 presented by, not Tommy Designs, Tommy Fire and Rescue. You saw nothing. Boom, like it never happened. Sponsored by Tommy Fire and Rescue. And of course, your typical information, Nashville Superspeedway, home in Lebanon, Tennessee. 1.3 mile length. They call it a super speedway. It's really not. It's really a very wide short track. That's what I would call it. 7 miles per hour wind. 31 degrees Fahrenheit on the air temp. 39 degrees for the track temp. Dry surface. 4 additional tire sets. 1 fast repair. 3 group by checkers. 60% fuel, aka around 40 laps. All right. And just like that, it's time for qualifying. Drivers have about 30 seconds left before qualifying concludes. You're seeing the drivers practice on your screen now. So much can happen here at Nashville Superspeedway. Tell you what, you can make any line work, you know. You can use the top, the middle, the bottom. You can go 5 wide if you really wanted to here. And we're going to see who exactly wants to come out on top when it's all said and done. 20 seconds until qualifying. It's time to transfer over to start tonight's action. And practice has now concluded. Qualifying is now ready to get underway. Let's go ahead and see who will be the first driver out there for their qualifying. That's who we're going to look at to find out where they're going to start. And first one we got is Wes Gallo, and he is somebody to watch out for. We'll tell you why in a minute. Coming out on the racetrack in the 07 NOS Toyota Camry. Or should I say Toyota Supra. This is the Xfinity Series after all. Wes Gallo got a 2nd place last week, the best career result for him. He's looking to prove something tonight. Looking to prove it without getting loose off of pit road, though. He'll reset, it looks like, and we're going to go over to somebody else. We got Ryan Pittman in the 08 out there. He was here last week as well. We saw him around the racetrack. Seeing if he can improve tonight, that's the main question in his book. coming back to the line to start his first lap of action. And big absent tonight, Stephen Kirby is not in attendance. So that's big news. The 109 not able to make it. We'll see if that changes any headlines. Here comes Wes Gallo to the start-finish line, ready to get his laps underway. And we're going to see where these drivers place themselves as the qualifying session goes on. And as the drivers get their qualifying laps in, we're going to go ahead and bring up that ticker momentarily. Brandon Fiedler currently top of the boards. Can Wes Gallo improve on the quick time? At the flag, survey says no. He goes P3 on the boards. Drivers setting their lap 6 so far. Justin Moyer's coming out there in the 11 middle yellow Toyota Supra. Also watch out for him. Your top 5 tonight in the championship standings: Bostic, Calvert, Ward, the 81 of Karin, and Naren. But of course, Kirby is not here, so that's something to also watch out for. So Moyer's getting ready to set his quick time. Somebody to also watch out for tonight: Philip Beaver, always fast week in, week out over at Philmar. Number 60 machine, ready to go tonight as well. Let's go ahead and ride on board. Yeah, as I mentioned, they call it a super speedway. It's really not a super speedway. You see how slow they go in the corners. But it's a very wide track. That's definitely true about it. Very wide, very tough to tame. You got to get that perfect line if you really want to gap the field. That's for sure. And you see the light blue with Jack Ward currently goes top of the boards in the 5 machine. Light blue is, of course, your Tommy Fire and Rescue dash for cash tonight. The 5, the 07, alongside the 16 of Calvert, and the 22 of Bostic, all involved. Bostic, by the way, will have to start in the rear tonight because he won the previous race. That's the rule here in Road to Pro. If you won, you go to the back. And Bostic fighting for the dash for cash and anything else, including 4 back-to-back victories. He's going to be starting in the rear spot tonight. Matthew Karakov getting ready to go in the double O machine. Always reminds me of back in the Quinn Houff days in the NASCAR Cup Series. About to set his laps. We have about 1 minute left in qualifying. Zach Ward currently top of the boards. Your league owner setting the stage so far tonight. Karakov goes P9 on the grid. Joe Tardif in the 23, blinking out, trying to get some laps in. We got Bryn George in the 45, back for another week of action. Let's see where he can go on the boards. Currently 13 drivers have qualified, but we have a grand total of 26 machines getting ready to go tonight. So plenty of cars getting ready to go here from Nashville Superspeedway. Once again, a great field size here in the Road to Pro Series. Always love to see the driver support coming in, week out, to keep this league alive. Because when it's all said and done, the drivers are the lifeline, the heartbeat of every iRacing league. Always good when you have a loyal fan base, a loyal driver base. Bryn George to the line. He'll go P14, bottom of the boards. And that's going to include our qualifying laps. Looks like Zach Ward, joined by Jeff Naren, is going to be your front row tonight. It's time for the grid here on the R2R Broadcast Network. No more delays. It's time to kick off Nashville Superspeedway, the Country Music Tribute 200, coming up right now. It's time to kick off the grid for Nashville Superspeedway F.U.N. Road to Pro Series. All starts right now. Row 1 tonight, Zach Ward, your league owner, joined alongside by Jeff Naren, always known for starting up in the front. Can he finally convert that to a victory? Ryan Pittman, a great starting position on the podium, joined by a top 5 contender all season long in William Carron. Rounding out the top 5 is Philip Beaver. He's alongside Marty Calvert, one of your Tommy's Dash for Cash drivers tonight. Brandon Fiedler joined alongside by Wes Gallo. So close to getting that win last week. Is tonight the night for the 08 machine. Matthew Karakov and Steve Mormon round out the top 10. 07 machine, by the way, for Wes Gallo. Row 6, David Baldazar joined alongside by Daniel Green, always an underdog competitor in that 99. Row 7, Justin Moyers joined alongside by Bryn George. Row 8, we got Ty Bostic, but he's going to the rear after winning last week, joined alongside by Chandler Chabot. Not starting at 17th, I wish I was, alongside John Ledger back there in row 9. Row 10, Eric Olson joined alongside by Evan Emick. Row 11 tonight, Joe Tardif and Corey Goodall. Goodall just a few points outside of the playoffs. Can he finally punch his ticket in after tonight? David Watts and Jackson McLean back there in row 12. And that concludes your field tonight. 24 competitors from Nashville Superspeedway. And it's Zach Ward all at the front tonight. We're going to see what he can do starting in that front position. That number 5 machine. A Mark Martin throwback looking car for the number 5. Zach Ward hasn't won in quite a bit of time. What a way it would be if he can get it done tonight from the pole. So 53 laps for the first stage. 150 is the total. And the Road to Pro Series, they do it a bit interesting. They only have one stage, pretty much, no pun intended, setting the stage for the race. And then after that, no more stages. Just straight to the end, obviously, without cautions playing a factor. So 53 laps for stage 1. And then after that, it's pretty much a straight shot until the end. So you only got 53 laps to figure out what you got, what you need, and what your competition is. Zach Ward and Jeff Nairn going to be your front row tonight, with Pittman and Carron rounding out row 2. 24 machines ready to take center stage from Nashville Superspeedway, the Country Music Tribute 200. Once again, the light blue on the ticker tonight, sponsored by Tommy's Fire and Safety, doing the Dash for Cash, the Tommy's Dash for Cash. Whoever is the highest positioning driver in the blue will receive $10, and whoever finishes top 4 tonight will fight for it next week at Michigan. Pace car is in. The Fun Road to Pro Series from Nashville Superspeedway Country Music Tribute 200 is now underway. A great launch from Zach Ward. He leads a field of 24 machines entering turn 1, and he's already long gone in that top spot. Pittman and Nairn battle on for P2. P2 spot still up for grabs. Pittman makes that pass complete. Nairn falls back to 3rd. Off of turn 4, there's Marty Calvert back there. Road to Pro Tommy's Dash for Cash driver alongside another one in Wes Gallo in the 07. Those two drivers going to fight for something tonight. Matthew Karakov gets sideways. Marty Calvert going to go straight back up in the wall. Karakov back down the racetrack. It's a huge wreck on lap 2. Daniel Green involved as well. And it looked to me like that was some virtual glitching as well. Looks like the 00 bounced off the wall. Definitely an iRacing thing that you would not see in real life. Wow, what a way to start. It looked like Marty Calvert was going to save it, and that was not the case. Instead, he goes for a spin, and the 00 and Matthew Karakov got the worst of it. His car is destroyed. Fast repair already needed for the 00 machine. Check this out. It was Karakov's fault, to be fair. Calvert almost saves it back up the racetrack, and bam! Oh my goodness, back down. Green nowhere to go. Moyers nowhere to go. Ledger nowhere to go. And let's go ahead and ride on board with Justin Moyers in the 11. This one's going to be pretty scary, to say the least. Probably got jump scared back here in the 11. Let's see. And bam, nowhere you go. Does a good job saving it, though. And first caution already out tonight. Didn't take long, that's for sure. Whoa. Whoa. You didn't see that either. Zach Ward continues to lead. Pittman up 1 spot, Nairn down 1 spot. Already some big movers, though, in the back. 13th, John Ledger up 5 spots, but he was involved in the wreck, so he'll lose those positions. Chandler Chabot up 4 spots in 12th, amongst a few others. 40 laps of fuel tonight, so you'll see the tank is still very full on these drivers. Should see possibly a green flag pit stop in stage 1, but if cautions plague the field, it'll probably have to wait until that second and final stage, about 100 laps in total distance, for us to see that first green flag pit stop and get some strategy involved tonight. A few cars down pit road, many of them fixing out the damage they got before in that previous wreck. Joe Tardif coming out. Goodall is down. Green, Ledger, Karakov, Calvert. No shocker there. All 4 of those guys have heavy damage. Calvert still on pit road, and Calvert is one of your 4 drivers fighting for the Dash for Cash. Already problems for him. And speaking of Dash for Cash, how about Ty Bostic, by the way? Bostic started in the rear, and he's already back to where he started off at, in 13th. Where he originally qualified. That's about 10 spots in total in 2 laps. Watch out for Ty Bostic. He's trying to go for 4 straight in a row in the Fun Road to Pro Series. What a job he would be tonight if he can get that done. He already has the points lead. Might as well keep improving it at this point. Gonna get a quick drink. 1 to green at the line. Zach Ward leads us back to action when we come across next time by. Back with the drink, with the bev, ready to go for the restart. Well, not ready yet. Got to sit down first. There we go. So Zach Ward and a newcomer in the front row, the 08 of Ryan Pittman. Going to lead us back to green flag action. Made it 2 laps before our first caution tonight. Let's see how long it takes this time for these guys to boil over. Back in the restart zone we go. The green flag is back in the air. Another great restart from Zach Ward. He leads the field entering 1 and 2 for the second time tonight. Pittman up 1 spot already. Can he improve 1 more and make it up to the lead? We'll find out. Dropping back a bit. Here comes Jeff Nairn to the inside. That 27 wants that second spot back in a hurry. Marty Calvert back in the event. 2 laps down. Karakov off the racetrack. Night over for him. Same goes for Jackson McLean, who unfortunately did not start the event tonight. Entering turn 1, new fastest lap, your pole sitter and your leader, Zach Ward, continues to dominate, but he's still not pulling away. Everybody's still very tight-knit with the lap times, giving about a 10th or 2 between each other. Back there, William Caron, now fighting for a podium spot as well in the 81 machine. Remember, top 4 pays out big for next week if you get that top spot in the Tommy's Dash for Cash. Zach Ward again, the fastest lap, but here comes Jeff Nairn. Looking to prove something in the 44 watts, 27 machine, and he just set the fastest lap last time by. To the lead he goes. Originally was down 2 spots, now back up in the lead for the first time tonight is that 27. Can he pull away with that race lead? Off of turn 3 and 4. Brandon Fiedler entering the conversation, trying to get side by side with William Caron. That's the battle for 4th and 5th. Nairn again with the fastest lap. He continues to tick off bomb after bomb up in the front. Pittman trying to hold on. He's got Caron all over his back bumper. Holds on for now. Some battles in the mid-pack. Bryn George back here. There's the 22, by the way, at Ty Bostic up to 11th, approaching, creeping in on that top 10 conversation. Not going to be long before that happens. End-of-line penalty for Matthew Karakov, but he's out of the race, so it does not matter. John Ledger side by side with David Watts in the rear of the field, continuing to battle. But up in the front, it's still Jeff Nairn, 10 laps in. Pulling away now from the rest of the field, trying to keep this race lead in his hands. And we're starting to single file out across the racetrack. Got a battle a little bit farther back, give or take around the 12th position. It's Ty Bostic side by side with David Baldazar. This to put Bostic in the top 10, and he'll take it. Bostic is flying, just like he is every week. Already up in the top 10 after starting in the rear, 11 laps in. Looking to get that payout, that Tommy's Dash for cash tonight. And think about it this way, if you finish top 4 and you win every single time for the Dash for cash, you win $40 when it's all said and done. That's some good money. Nairn slows down a bit in 1, but gets a better exit off at 2, starts to pull away again. Riding on board with Ryan Pittman in 3rd. All over the back bumper is Zach Ward. Battle is on for 9th. Bryn George further back side by side as Ty Bostic takes another spot away. He goes up to 9th now in the 22 machine. Seems like Bostic has the best pace so far tonight, at least with the spots he's gained. Remember, your winners start in the rear every single following week. So he had to start in around the 23rd position, already up to 9th, 13 laps in. Already back on the same page as usual. Pittman side by side with Karin. 81 wants a shot at the podium here, and he'll take it from the 08 machine. So a new guy in the bronze spot. But Pittman wants to fight back. Watch out for Brandon Fiedler in 5th as well. All fighting for 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the racetrack. Nairn continuing to pull away. Check out Pittman. He got the spot back from Karin. Telling Karin, hey, you got to work a bit harder if you want this spot from me. 81 may try his luck again in turn 3. He's all over that back bumper. And that's what he's going to do. Send it on the inside. He's going to get a block, though, from the 08. 08 wants to keep that podium position. Karin back to the inside, though. Here he comes in the 81. 08 playing defense, 81 playing offense here at Nashville. Nashville, wow. Nashville. Pronounce the A's correctly. Pittman is sandwiched in between Fiedler and Karin. Karin back to 3rd. 39 waiting in the wings, hoping these guys ahead of him can battle too hard. He'll get a 2-for-1 special and go up to 3rd. Nairn continues to lead 2/10 over Zach Ward, comparing lap times last time by. Seems like Zach Ward, though, is a bit faster. Could we see, once again, a Zach Ward leader in the distance? 5 machine continues to stay in the closing gaps, but not able to keep that top spot just so far. Led a few laps early, but it's all Jeff Nairn at the front. Bryn George, David Baldazar, Chandler Chabot. All fighting just outside the top 10, actually just in the top 10. 45 in 10th, Baldazar in 11th. Philip Beaver up there in 9th. Bostic up to 8th, by the way. Another spot added for him. Oh no! Problems for Baldazar. He got loose off the back bumper of Bryn George. I saw that in the corner of my eye. For a split second. Looks like he holds on to it, though, so we'll stay green. Nairn continues his climb up and away in the front. Ward actually getting closed in by third and fourth right now. That's Karn and Pittman. Could we see a pass for second here soon as well? But just like all things, only time will tell if that will be the case for that second spot. 33 laps to go in stage 1, 20 laps into the 150-lap feature from the Country Music Tribute 200, sponsored by Tommy's Fire and Safety. Nashville Superspeedway with the Road to Pro Series. Don't go anywhere. Side-by-side coverage continues on the R2R Broadcast Network. Welcoming you back to the R2R Broadcast Network live coverage from the F.U.N Road to Pro Series, the Country Music Tribute 200 at Nashville Superspeedway, brought to you by Tommy's Fire and Safety. Also putting on the dash for cash tonight. Every driver in blue fighting for $10. 25 laps into the 150-lap feature, and about halfway into stage 1. Up in the front, Jeff Nairn continues to lead. He's already had a grand total of 18 laps led tonight, about 2/3 of the race so far. The other third has went to Zach Ward in second, who led about 8 laps earlier on. A caution flag is out. One car around in the back of the field. That's David Baltazar in the 97. We saw him actually spin earlier before we had our caution break, and it looks like maybe got spun around again. Going back to see what happened here to David Baltazar. Oh, and he was actually fighting the same guy who originally spun off the nose of him the first time. Uh-oh. I don't like what I just saw. Whoa! Whoa! I don't know about that one. Bryn George either got loose or just straight up wrecked the 97. Let's see this again. Let's see from Bryn George's cockpit camera. Bryn George saying drove over the corner, so I guess it was an accident in his ruling. Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, he never turned the wheel right. It looked like it bad from the outside, but yeah, it looks like he just overset the corner. And unfortunately, that's going to hurt David Baldazar the most. Brendan Jordan's going to have no damage whatsoever. All the field now down pit road. The reason is because now they're going to be good on fuel till the end with this pit stop. So, stage 1 will have no green flag action, at least for pit stops. It'll definitely have green flag action. No green flag pit stop action, to be specific. And Marty Calvert back to 1 lap down. Looks like he's going to stay out and get the lucky dog. Or should I say, actually, a wave around. That's what he's going to do. A wave around. He'll go 1 lap down now instead of 2. Cars down the pits. They have some tire sets to work with, so expect a 4-tire stop for most of these guys. Looks like Fiedler's going to take 2. He goes out early. Everybody else looks like they take 4. Narin, Ward, Pittman, and Carr in your top 5. Pit stats. Yeah, look at that. Fuel only actually for Fiedler. No tires at all. And then 4-tire stops for the rest of the field. So that's going to be interesting here to see what Fiedler can do in that 39 machine. Already was in the top 5, but he wants to try out his luck here in stage 1. You already know there's going to be a caution at lap 53, so you might as well test out some strategy play. And that's exactly what Brandon Fiedler is doing. And he'll have a shot to lead some laps. Never mind. Maybe seeing that everybody else took 4 tires, and now he's going to come down himself and get 4 fresh Goodyears. And that's bad news for him, because now he's going to go from 5th all the way until around 20th, where David Baldazar is currently at. Marty Calvert with the lucky dog. Already claimed it. He'll be 1 lap down. So you're 1 of 4 Tommy's Dash for Cash drivers tonight still has a shot to win, alongside the 3 others who are currently in the top 6. So it's still Narin, Ward at the front. How about Ty Bostic up to 5th already? Tell you what, I got a feeling Bostic's winning again tonight. I just got a small feeling he's going to win again tonight. If that's the case, what a showing it would be to get this many wins. Back to back to back to back to back. Still a long ways to go until they'll finish, though, so plenty of things can happen until then. So we're going to go back to green this time by about 20 laps remaining in stage 1. And no changes up in the front row. Pace cars back down. Jeff Narin and Zach Ward continue their dominant streak up in the front, and they'll enter the restart zone, taking us back to green flag action. "23 laps to go in the first stage tonight. New leader Zach Ward makes the pass on Narin for a split second, but Narin gets it back off at turn 2 there, jumping back and forth in the race lead. Side by side, who wants it more? They keep going back and forth like a seesaw. They're going to bump it and bang off the final corner and give the lap to Jeff Narin, but Zach Ward is still there. Ward going to try to get a good exit here. If he does not get that exit he wants, he'll fall back to 2nd, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Jeff Narin back up to the lead, but here comes Zach Ward back to the inside. He wants to challenge up in the front, trying to prove something here early from Nashville. Bostic and Gallo fight back there, 2 Dash for Cash drivers. New fastest lap last time by went to Jeff Narin, a 31.10. Quickest lap so far. But Zach Ward is still there, trying to prove something. The Mark Martin throwback. Tell you what, Ty Bostic kind of sullen right now. Wes Gallo wants a shot at the top 5. Another fastest lap for Jeff Narin, a 31.03. improved by 0.07 of a second that time by. Wow. Approaching 30-second lap times. A very wide track. Realistically, if you really tried, you could probably take it 6 wide here. Maybe that's why they call it a Superspeedway, because it's definitely not because of the pack racing, that's for sure. So Gallo takes 5th from Bostic. Bostic kind of stalling out now. Joe Tardif up to 10th, by the way. Side by side with Bryn George in the 45. Fighting for that final spot in the top 10. Zach Ward under fire. The 08 of Pittman wants a spot from him. Ward not going to give it up easy. Ward slots into 3rd now. He's having to play more defense. Here comes Karin in the 81. All of a sudden, Ward is getting swallowed up. Wes Gallo also wants to pass as well. Everybody trying to pass Zach Ward. Maybe some problems. Maybe the tires wearing off. Not entirely sure. Maybe he's even saving his stuff. You never know. Whoa, Ward a bit loose off of turn 2. Holds on to it. We're all good. But Karin takes the spot from him. Now Gallo going to try to do the exact same thing. Looks like Ward will fall into 4th for now. Nairn continuing to lead lap after lap. Originally at 31.03, now the guy's going back down to around 31.4s. Fastest car on the racetrack right now, William Karin at 31.37. Haven't talked about these guys right here, but they're doing a great job. How about Steve Mormon? Up to 7th in the 26 machine. Right behind him is Chandler Chabot in 8th. Boomer Tuesdays. Boomer Tuesdays. What a sponsor. Wow. That's a pretty cool sponsor. $15 laps to go in stage 1. Still Jeff Nairn up in the front. Counting down the laps until the end of stage 1. And after that, it's a straight dash to the finish. 110 laps remaining. 15 laps to go in stage 1. From the Country Music Tribute 200 from Nashville Superspeedway. Continuing live coverage on the R2R Broadcast Network. Under 10 laps to go, make that 9 laps to go in stage 1 from the Country Music Tribute 200 from Nashville Superspeedway, brought to you by Tommy's Fire and Safety. Current leader goes to Jeff Nairn in the 27. He leads 6/10 over William Carron in second, Pittman in third, Ward and Bostic who round out the top 5. Tell you what, by the way, the Dash for Cash drivers, sponsored by Tommy's tonight, 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack. Of course, Calvert 1 lap down, currently in 21st, but the rest of them are very close, very tight-knit together right now. Seems like that battle going to go down to the wire throughout the entire night of action. But up in the front, Jeff Nairn continues his dominant streak here early on from Nashville, up to a grand total of 38 laps led. Can Nairn break the streak of Bostic winning races? We've seen Bostic win about 3 times in a row now. Looking for a new winner this year, and it looks like Nairn can be the guy to do it. Nairn's had a pretty good season, though, even though it's not been as dominant as somebody like Bostic. But he's yet to win. He's actually the most highest driver in the point standings yet to actually win a race this season. 6 in points, so that would definitely be big tonight if Jeff Nairn picks up his first career win this season. Steve Mormon continues side-by-side action with Chandler Chabot. These guys have been going at it for about 12 laps now. 6th and 7th, make that 7th and 8th on the racetrack, up for grabs. And then further on back, the battle for P9 also heating up. A lot of cars back here. There's Bryn George, Joe Tardif, Philip Beaver, Corey Goodall and company, all battling for more spots and slots outside the top 10. Also a battle for P3 heating up as Pittman, Ward, and Bostic go at it. Carn up to second as well, also could be under fire. But currently that 3rd place spot, the main attraction here, 08 versus 5. Look at the side drafting Ward's doing, entering 3. Very close, very tight-knit. No room for any errors. Up in the front, Nairn leads by 1 second over William Carron. He'll see 4 laps to go in the first stage tonight. Ward up to 3rd now. Bostic trying to get 4th. Looks like Pittman going to lose 2 spots for 1. As the 22 makes the pass complete, Pittman falls to 5th. He was originally battling for 2nd with Carron. Now he's the one that drops outside, just barely in the top 5. Carron trying to run down Nairn, but I don't think it's going to be enough until the end. Just not a lot of time, not a lot of room to really catch him in 2.5 laps. So it's 2 laps to go at the line for Nairn in the 27. Trying to close stage 1 with an early victory to set himself up for some massive success. Maybe a first career win tonight from Nashville, which would pay big dividends for this 2744 watts machine. As mentioned, he's had a very consistent year, just no wins, and a win has certainly been coming for the 27 camp. A lap car coming up. Won't pay a picture, though, because last lap is now in the air. That is David Watts ahead, but 1 to go. I'm not sure if you'll be able to catch him in time. Obviously, Watts doesn't want that. And a caution flag will wave early. That will conclude our stage. And as mentioned, it's Jeff Nairn picking up the stage 1 victory, setting the tone for hopefully a successful night in the 27 machine. The quest for that first career win for the 27 camp starts right here, right now. Top 10 is as follows: Nairn, Carron, Ward, Bostic, and Pittman your top 5. Gallo, Mormon, Chabot, Tardif, and George your top 10. Looks like Marty Calvert will get the Lucky Dog putting him back on the lead lap. So all 4 of your Tommy's Dash for Cash drivers still have a shot. So pace car comes back out. Going to see our first pit stop here in the second long final stage. Just under 100 laps to go from Nashville Superspeedway. Into double digits as the laps continue to tick down and down. Aggression through the roof, more and more every single lap. And that action will continue coming up for the restart. So stage 2, the final stage of the night, running until the end of the race. Getting ready to go here from the Country Music Tribute 200 from the F.U.N Road to Pro Series. Some strategy up in the front. Steve Mormon only took fuel, while the majority of the rest of the field took 4 tires. We see Eric Olson back in 10th, elected to take 2. But another strategy call here, this time from Steve Mormon in the 26, who was also running pretty high up in the racetrack. He was running around 7th place, but he wants to try his luck to start the second stage. We'll see what happens there. Let's see if he has... Oh, look at this. Yeah, well, he pit for fuel, obviously, so I was going to say, look at that, he has the same amount of fuel, but that's a given because he took fuel. But let's see what he's setting himself up to have. William Carron to the outside. Jeff Nairn, your stage 1 winner, will be back there in 4th with Zach Ward, your pole sitter, back in 3rd. Watch out for Ty Bostic in 5th and Pittman in 6th, all with the shot to win as well. Under 100 laps to go from Nashville Superspeedway, entering the restart zone. We're back green once again. Oh no, already problems. Steve Mormon with those older tires got really loose in turn 1, but he held on to it. He saved it, but another guy in the back may not do that. That's Bryn George. Sliding in the grass. Green for now. Still green at the time being. Zach Ward side by side with Jeff Nairn for 2nd. And Steve Mormon already falling back to 10th place. Definitely not the right call for him. Close calls, but we're going to stay green as the drivers save it throughout the field. All led by William Carron in the 81. And actually, this is some of his first laps he's led all night long. Yeah, first laps he's led all night in the 81 machine. Typically, whoever wins races, at least from what we've seen on the R2R broadcast network, they come to life in stage 2. It's not your early heavy hitter, so maybe somebody like Karin tonight could be the guy to do it. Or can Naren, who won stage 1, continue his dominant streak and maybe he get himself a win tonight for the first time in this season? Already back to single file racing. Definitely not like the Superspeedway they call themselves. 91 laps to go. William Karin in the wall a little bit. You heard that sound in the background. That's going to give Jeff Naren a little bit of a run here to run down that 81 machine. Throughout stage 1, a mix of yellows, but not as much as we had green flag laps. We'll see if we can get any green flag pit stops here, which only 40 laps is the distance, so realistically we could add 2 if there's no cautions whatsoever. Which usually is not the case, let's be fair. But I could see at least 1 green flag pit stop. That would definitely bring in those strategy drivers into play here to see what they can do. Naren trying to run down Karin in the 81. Let's go ahead and compare lap times here compared to these two drivers in first and second and see who's going a bit faster. Running about even, but Karin in the lead. Just slightly faster last time by than Jeff Naren. But they're pretty much staying equal right now between each other. So 63 of 150. Plenty of action left to come, but tell you what, I do think the guys who are going to win this race are in the top of the field right now. You see the guys farther back, they've kind of been stuck there. Justin Moyers, Corey Goodall, John Ledger. I'm surprised in Daniel Green. This Fastenal 99 used to run as the UPS 99. He used to be a top 5 contender for a few weeks, and then he switched to this Fastenal paint scheme, and now he's been kind of stuck in the mid-range right now, P15. Maybe it's the paint scheme. I'm telling you, those are some real curses. But the guys in the front, Naren, Karin, Ward, Bostic, Pittman, Gallo, those top 6, they've been the top 6 throughout most of the entire race. By the way, Marty Calvert has most of his damage fixed. He got all of his laps back with some cautions possibly in the way. He could also be still a late race or a late favorite for the Tommy's Dash for cash tonight. And just because you're in it tonight doesn't mean you can't be in it again. If you finish in the top 4, you'll also be able to participate next week for another dash. 08 versus 07 back here. Pittman versus Gallo. Gallo coming off a second place finish last week at Charlotte. Looking to get one spot higher tonight. In the wall hard though off a turn 2. Wow. Karin continuing to pull away. He's had the fastest lap last time by. Running some quick times here. Joe Tardif, Philip Beaver, 7th and 8th battling, and same behind them. Fiedler and Chabot rounding out the top 10, also going at it. Ty Bostic past Pittman and Gallo a few laps back. Up to 4th he goes, but ever since he's been up to that top 5 range, he's been idling out. He's never cracked the top 3 yet so far. And And Bostic looking for back-to-back-to-back-to-back wins. Definitely would love to put it on the first place spot again. In Bostic's book, anything except a win is probably lackluster with how his season has gone so far. Single file continues across the racetrack. Karin continuing to stay in control. Naren behind. Still running slower lap times, at least last time by. Will he improve this time? He actually does. By a little bit. Now he's about a tenth faster than the 81. Now he's actually running him down. An 8.63 compared to a 9.60. Could Jeff Naren take that lead back? He hasn't seen it since he won the first stage. Zach Ward also waiting in the wings in third. And then about a second behind him is Ty Bostic in fourth. Three cars under a blanket back here. Not a lot of battles behind the top 6 drivers, though. A lot of single file action across the field. Not a lot going on right now. Just a bunch of strategy, a bunch of drivers trying to pull away from each other. I'll tell you what, Jeff Naren, slowly but surely running down the race leader. About halfway on the fuel tanks, by the way. We should see a pit stop around lap 95. Can Karin hold on until whenever we see that next caution, which could be never. Sometimes it never happens. And if that's the case, he's got to figure out this long run speed because obviously Naren's got something for him. And we're still only halfway in the cycle before pit stop, so a lot of time for drivers to lose spots, gain spots over time. Approaching halfway next time by, lap 75 of 150. And here comes Jeff Naren to the inside. No longer playing the waiting game. He'll take the charge to the front, and he'll take it like it was no problem whatsoever. New race leader, it's Jeff Naren. Oh, Naren got a bit loose, though. Here comes Karin back to the outside. And Zach Ward's a sitting duck back here in third. Now Zach Ward to the inside of Karin as Naren starts to pull away. Karin may lose 2 spots here in just a single lap alone. That's not good news for the 81. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Ward to second. Bostic starting to run down the leaders as well. He's back to under a second, or just over a second this time by. Karin and Ward still can't seem like they can decide who's going to take second place. It looked like Karin was going to lose it, but now he fights back on the outside lane, getting some good runs off the exit of these corners, while Ward gets some exits or some good entrance into the corners. So they're kind of evening out their speed. Still side by side for now for that second spot as Bostic tries to run them down. Bostic yet to see the podium yet tonight. Can he finally crack it? Again, what a night it would be if Jeff Nairn gets a win. The highest in points yet to get a victory in the season. Been so close many times. He's always started near the top. He's got a few poles this year, but yet to get a victory. Tonight's looking like his best night so far to get it done. Lap 79 of 150 in the Country Music Tribute 200, brought to you by Tommy's Fire and Safety. Action continues live on the R2R Broadcast Network. Welcoming you back to the R2R Broadcast Network. Live coverage from Nashville Superspeedway, the Country Music Tribute 200, presented by Tommy's Fire and Safety, a part of the F.U.N. Road to Pro Series. More than halfway through tonight's action now. And Jeff Nairn, your Stage 1 winner, still looking for that first win on the season, continues to be the guy out front. Zach Ward under fire for second, as here comes Ty Bostic looking for quadruple back-to-back victories. Finds his way up to third, maybe even second. To the inside he goes. And Bostic started P23. Remember, a winner has to drop to the end at the start of every single race in the following week. So, the fact that Bostic's getting all these spots back, he definitely has some speed. With some cycles, maybe some cautions, Bostic could pass Nairn for the race lead very easily. We've seen that many times this year from the 22. That's why he's the points leader. Justin Moyer's down pit road. We are approaching that pit road time. Entering the yellows here for the leaders, making about 1/5 of the tank remaining. So pit stops would be here soon. If they pit around lap 95, that's going to leave them with 55 laps to go. 40 is the tank, so that they'll have at least one more pit stop. Not sure if anybody else can make it on a one stop. Yeah, that's going to be impossible. So 2 more stops remaining following this first stop. Or 1 stop after this first stop. 2 stops in total. We're approaching the first green flag pit stops, and usually that's when Ty Bostic prevails. Can he finally get that lead for the first time tonight? Evan Amick down pit road in the 77. Was currently running 12th at the time he came down. 17 cars on the lead lap. Looks like Marty Calvin, first car lap down. Some of these guys lapped though have already pitted. And here comes Ty Bostic. Actually, that's not Ty Bostic. That's Jeff Nairn. A glitch on our ticker. Jeff Nairn, your race leader, is going to come down first. He's joined by a few others. Philip Beaver, Joe Tardif, also down pit road. So Nairn looking to pit earlier rather than later. We're going to see if that pays off in the right direction for him. And for the first time tonight, your new race leader is Ty Bostic, approaching reds on the fuel window. And William Carrin, the next one to make his stop. Joined by Wes Gallo in the 07. That's 2 more drivers making their way down. Looks like Daniel Green, Brandon Fiedler, David Baldazar, and company all down as well. So when will these guys pit? Led by Bostic. Only 6 of them remain. Bostic, Ward, Pittman, Chabot, Ledger, and Goodall. Yet to make their penultimate stop. Ryan Pittman in the 08. He's now down. That leaves 5 on the racetrack. First car out of pit road so far is William Carrin. Actually going to beat out Nairn. Actually, never mind. Nairn was just passing him off of pit road when I said that. Nairn now back to the race lead. He was the first one to pit, so no surprise there. And here comes Zach Ward down pit road. He was running 3rd before the pit road cycles began. He will not make his stop. And that leaves pretty much just one main driver. That's Ty Bostic in the 22. Jeff Nairn, new fastest lap on the fresh tires. And Bostic running up to empty right now. Should be pitting here any second now. Maybe even this lap. Starting to slow. And that's the case. Here comes Ty Bostic down pit road. This to conclude our fast driver cycles. Currently, Zach Ward takes the top spot. But where is Jeff Nairn? Ward's coming out, and guess where Nairn is at? Nairn's right there, so Nairn's going to easily be ahead. Now the question is, will Nairn be able to pass Ty Bostic? And if he does, how far back will Ty Bostic be with the fresh tires? Onto the front stretch goes the 27 of Jeff Nairn. Where is Bostic? He's way behind. Wow. Remember, he's on new tires, but he's going to fall back quite a bit. So it seems like the gap right now is Jeff Nairn by about 2.5 seconds over William Karn. But remember, he was the first one out of these guys to pit. So he'll have the slower tires as the cycle goes on. Chabot, Goodall, and George all down pit road. That will cycle out the race leader, Jeff Nairn, this time by. And he is back out front. So yeah, 2 seconds now between Nairn and Karin. 2.3 seconds back is Gallo. How about Joe Tardif in fourth? I got a feeling there's some strategy though. Let's see. No, wow, Joe Tardif actually took 4 tires. So you can see when these drivers pit as well. Since last pit, Nairn 6, Karin 5, Gallo 5, Pittman 4, Zach Ward 3, Ty Bostic 2. So you can see the guys who just pit are a bit farther behind. But they'll make up some ground as the cycle goes on. Two laps until we reach lap 100 of 150. Approaching 50 laps to go. Battle is heating up in the mid-pack. Zach Ward, Ty Bostic, Joe Tardif, all going at it. They got Pittman right ahead of him as well. About 4 cars under a blanket. All fighting for a top 4 currently. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. All up for grabs. Different strategy for each of these drivers. Some on older tires, some on newer tires. Again, what a night it would be if Jeff Nairn wins. Yet to win this season, 6th in the point standings. The highest driver in the standings without a win. Multi-time pole winner this season, multi-time stage winner this season, but yet to get a finishing result of P1. And with 50 laps to go, he is easily your favorite tonight. And he's pulling away from Wes Gallo in second. Even if Gallo finishes second, that's a great result from him. He got second last week at Charlotte when he thought he couldn't do it. What if he gets second twice in a row? Talk about a momentum boost to make it to the top spot. It's possible. These drivers really got their act together here in stage 2. Check out the yellow to green ratio. It's almost non-existent in the second stage. Actually, it is. The only caution we have was when stage 1 was thrown. So 0 cautions throughout the entire stage 2. It's turning into a strategy race at its finest. And right now, Jeff Nairn is that strategy king, up 2 seconds over Wes Gallo. And tell you what, these guys are not gaining on him either. They're kind of staying idle. Actually, a bit slower than your leader. So Nairn's actually gaining away from these guys. That's great news for him. It could have been Gallo holding up the field, though, because here comes Carr to make a pass for second. And he'll make it with ease. Bryn George got lapped. He's down to 20th. Problems for him. Originally running in the top 10 earlier down the race. Zach Ward, Ty Bostic, currently fighting for what could be the Tommy's dash for cash, but right now it still goes to Gallo. Watch out for Marty Calvert, by the way, back in the top 10 following his early caution. He's still in the mix if some cautions are waived in his favor. So watch out for the 16. Could be an underdog to steal all of it. Rounding out the top 10 currently with a clean race car, unlike what he had earlier. So Karin starting to pull away from Gallo in third. Can he now be the one to run down, or at least try to run down, Jeff Nairn? He's still running a bit slower, and that's surprising to me because these guys who are running slower than him, they pit after him. Everybody did, actually. Everybody pitted after him in the top 5, make up the top 6. I don't know why they're slower. I think Darren's just doing a great job with the strategy, and I think that's what exactly putting him in the scenario that he's in right now to possibly get that first career win. Up to 2.4 seconds and gaining is Jeff Darren, pulling away from P2 on back. Lap 105 of 150. At the line, just under 45 laps to go from Nashville. Final commercial break underway. Side-by-side action continues on the R2R Broadcast Network. Welcoming you back to the R2R Broadcast Network. It's closing time from Nashville Superspeedway. Country Music Tribute 200 has been a blast so far. And Jeff Naran is your current leader, continuing to try and fight for what could be his first career win this season in the F.U.N. Road to Pro Series, knocking out Ty Bostic's win streak of 3, which could be happening here tonight. Bostic is in second, but he is quite a ways away from that race lead. Gonna need some magic, maybe some cautions in his favor to really do something. He was fighting for second place for quite a bit of time, and that put him in a big deficit. Only good news for him now, though, is he is running faster. About 0.2 faster, actually. It's pretty good. But time is running out. One more scheduled pit stop going to be around lap 135, lap 136. So that's something to also watch out for. Naran was the first to pit, so he's going to be on probably the first person to pit, at least on the cycle. Which could be good, could be bad. It's good for him so far. He's been leading since he pit the first time. So could be good news, could be bad news. But we're going to have to find out here. All I know is Ty Bostic is running him down. And that's always bad news. If Bostic's running you down, that's always bad news. Bostic running about 0.3 faster. Naran definitely going to have to start picking it up here soon. Or pit for tires soon. Or else this could be a dangerous situation for the 27. And I think that's exactly why Bostic was not gaining. I think he was just stuck in traffic, stuck in the dirty air. Now he's running him down. This could be dangerous. Last time by, still running a bit faster. Only by a little bit less than 1/10 though. A lot different than the 0.3 we saw the first time around. So still on the ups for Jeff Naran. But Naran definitely does not need to be lacking right now with that guy behind him, Ty Bostic, who's already proved why he is so much more than the competition this season. This time by will be 30 laps to go as Naran continues to control. Bostic was faster by 0.2 again last time by. That's not good news. So the main question here is, when will Naran pit? We're expecting him to be the first one to pit because he was the first one to pit originally before. He's down to 1/4 of a tank. That's around 10 laps. Daniel Green down pit road in the 99. And a black flag for David Watts. It looks like he'll come down pit road for a second time. He's going to send it in the corner. Oh, that's too fast. There's no way. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe that was just a perfect pit stop. I thought that was too fast. I guess not. Or maybe it was just tacked onto his already penalty that he had to serve. So Bostic now under 1/10 to the race leader, Jeff Naran. Running about 0.2 faster. Now, this is still not bad news for Naran. Naran's pitting now. Jeff Naran's coming down pit road. Once again, the first to come down. Obviously, the one thing he does not need to do is make any mistakes. This pit stop could decide him winning and him finishing in the top 5 or even outside. So a huge pit stop for the 27 as his quest for his first career win continues. It's a clean stop. No overshoots, no undershoots. He's in pit road. And Ty Bostic. Whoa, I was not expecting this one. Originally, Ty Bostic was about 5 laps behind Jeff Naran. Last pit stop I think he learned from his mistakes. He's only one lap behind that 27 now. That is not good news for Jeff Nairn. Especially if the 22 is faster. They're only going to be separated by around a second if the pit stops come out correct. And the tire differential is going to be slim to none. Interested to see where Nairn comes out, or should I say where Bostic comes out compared to Nairn. Nairn coming across the front stretch. Bostic, he's already out. Whoa, Bostic's already out. I think Bostic took 2 tires. New fastest lap, William Curran. Bostic already out in turn 3. There is no way he took 4 tires. He took 2. Ty Bostic on a 2-tire strategy, ladies and gentlemen. The gap is around a straightaway. So we'll see if this is enough to have Ty Bostic hold on to this race win. I was not expecting that from the 22. But hey, you have all these wins. You have a big points lead. Might as well try something new, and I think that's what he's doing. Cars coming down pit road. Zach Ward, your race leader, yet to pit in the yellow. So realistically, he could stay out for another maybe 10 laps, but I don't think he's going to do that. I think the right call is to pit here soon. Can't let the guys on the new tires start picking up some pace on you. But Zach Ward continues to stay out so far. Tardif, Ledger, Pittman, also yet to pit. Marty Calvert down pit road, getting past as we speak. So that leaves 4 machines on the racetrack. Getting passed by Steve Mormon and Jeff Nairn. That's Zach Ward. So Nairn continuing to try to run down that 22 machine. The gap is around, wow, tell you what, gap around 4 seconds. That's not good news. He's got time, though. So nothing to stress about so far for Nairn. He's just got to continue to, hit his marks and do exactly what he's been doing all race. He has 4 tires. Bostic does not. That's the advantage. Zach Ward still not yet coming down. Stays out again, this time by. He'll reach 22 laps to go. Waiting on that elusive pit stop for Zach Ward. Your pole sitter tonight. William Curran getting swallowed up, getting held up by that 5 machine saying, "Get out of my way!" Curran currently running 3rd out of the Karzu pit. Curran has 1 win this year, looking for more. Zach Ward down pit road. That'll cycle out the lead to Joe Tardif in the 23. So Tardif now with a shot here to lead some laps. Ledger, Pittman also yet to pit. That leaves 3 machines on the racetrack before Ty Bostic will cycle out with the race lead. And here comes Tardif down pit road. That's going to leave 2, Ledger and Pittman. Pittman already passed by Bostic, so that's only leaving Ledger. A car leading over guys who have pit. We'll see when he decides to come down. Does not come down that time by. He has about 1/7 of the tank left. He can realistically do about 5 more laps around lap 135, 15 laps to go. We'll see if he elects to wait that long, but the winning situation is clear. Ty Bostic leading over Jeff Nairn and William Curran. The gap between Bostic and Nairn about 4 seconds, but here's the catch. Bostic's on 2 tires, Nairn is on 4. That could be a big difference here, especially with how much laps we have remaining. But only time will tell. Tell you what, Naren's not going to let this go easy. He's been looking for that first career win. He's been hungry all season long. Bostic, same situation, but the complete opposite reason. He's looking to go quadruple back-to-back victories, which would also be impressive. Comparing lap times here. Oh no. Jeff Naren's running the same lap times as Ty Bostic. That is not good at all. So new leader goes to Ty Bostic, but check this out. Naren is gaining, but it's not enough to really have him in the conversation right now. That's not good, especially for 4 tires. Can Ty Bostic steal a win again this year? I wouldn't be surprised, but it seemed like it was Naren's night. It still could be, but now it's starting to switch into Ty Bostic's direction with 17 laps to go. Naren slower by almost a tenth that time. Wow, I'm really surprised. Was not expecting that, honestly. I thought 2 tires was not the right call, but the current champion Ty Bostic showing us why he's the wheel man and I'm not. Proving us wrong time and time again, week after week. And with 16 laps to go, it's very likely he's going to find himself in victory lane tonight. Have yet to see a caution in the second and final stage. I'm assuming that's going to be the only thing plagiarizing this finish here for the 22. So 16 laps to go, coming up on 15. Picture is clear up at the front. It's all Ty Bostic at the top spot. Can anybody run him down before the end, or is it the 22's night? Once again on the R2R Broadcast Network. All of that, we're going to find out coming up next. Ten laps to go at the line from the Country Music Tribute 200 from Nashville Superspeedway. It's all Ty Bostic at the front. Ty Bostic, excuse me. Originally, it looked like Jeff Narin, but now with the laps closing down, double, or should I say single-digit laps approaching, remaining. The 22, once again, coming out on top when it matters most. Can he seal the deal from Nashville this evening and pull off 4 back-to-back victories? And as it stands, he would also win the Dash for Cash this week, and the top 4 currently would go fight next week. That would be Bostic, Narin, Gallo again, and Karin. How about Gallo? Been pretty fast the last few weeks in 3rd. Coming off a second-place finish when it looked like he wasn't going to even be close to 2nd, and tonight he's been a solid top 5 competitor and currently runs in the podium again. Talk about some motivation, some deterrence, or determination, excuse me. Doing a great job here in the 07 tonight. Let's go ahead and go through the field with 8 laps remaining. 7 at the line next time by. So Ty Bostic continues to lead, started 15th, actually started in the rear, up to 1st he goes. Jeff Narin in 2nd. Wes Gallo in 3rd with William Karin in 4th. Zach Ward rounds out the top 5. He's currently in 5th, just outside of the top 4 bubble. And back to 6th, excuse me, Daniel Green. Not Jared Green, that's my friend Jared Green. Daniel Green back there in 6th. Got Marty Calvert back there in 7th. A great recovery after following his early struggles with a wreck he was involved in. Brandon Fiedler in 8th with Chandler Chabot in 9th. Philip Beaver rounds out your top 10. Joe Tardif at 11th with David Baldazar in 12th. 13th goes to John Ledger, with 14th right behind going to Evan Amick. Steve Mormon, after some early strong points, he's back in 15th currently in the 26 machine. Ryan Pittman, very unfortunate ending for him so far. Originally a top 5 competitor, back there in 16th right now with trouble earlier on. Bryn George in 17th with Justin Moyers in 18th. Eric Olson in 19th. 20th goes to Corey Goodall currently, with the 21st spot going to David Watts in the 54. And the only car out of the race tonight, Matthew Karakoff and Jackson McLean electing not to start. Four laps remaining for Ty Bostic. Tell you what, a heartbreaker so far for Jeff Narin if it doesn't change in the last stage of the race. It was looking like it was going to be his night, I'm going to be honest. But that win, definitely coming soon if tonight is not the night for that 27 machine. It seems like every night's been Ty Bostic's night so far in the Fun Road to Pro Series. He's been winning back to back to back all over the place. And with 3 laps to go, it's looking like no different here this evening. Got some mid-pack battles, but nothing that's looking like it's going to cause a wreck here late in the stages. Philip Beaver side by side with Joe Tardif for the top 10. Tardif blinking out, that's not good. But still nothing changing up in the front for Ty Bostic in the 22. He'll reach 2 laps to go this time by. This to continue to push his points lead ahead. Already had a 60-point cushion on Stephen Kirby, which, by the way, he's not even in attendance tonight. A win would continue to push him even possibly over 100 points ahead of second place. What a job that would be almost halfway through the year. Many things can happen, but I have a feeling if Bostic continues this up, we could already deem him the champion before this league's even all said and done. And coming up to the white flag, he's going to see it with no more cautions in sight. 1 to go from the Country Music Tribute 200. Ty Bostic, a broken record, making me sound like up in the booth. Winner, week after week after week after week, continuing to show why he is the face of this series. And coming off of turn 3 and 4, it's going to be no different tonight from Nashville Superspeedway. Give it up for the guy who has seemed like he's won everything at this point, and add another one to his resume. Off of turn 4, Ty Bostic, your race winner from Nashville Superspeedway. In late race dominance, a 2-tire stop deems the perfect opportunity, and Ty Bostic finds himself in victory lane this evening. Gonna go to the front stretch to burn it down. What a win from Ty Bostic. Broken record, it seems like now. But he keeps winning, man. Keeps winning every week. Your podium tonight, Bostic, Nairn, and Gallo. Them alongside 4th place, Zach Ward, will fight for next week's Dash for Cash. Presented by Tommy's Fire and Safety. William Carr finishes 5th. All of them will be interviewed shortly on the R2R Broadcast Network for our post-race festivities. What a night from Nashville Superspeedway. I believe that was the first time we've been here on the R2R Broadcast Network, by the way, so awesome to see new tracks coming to life. We're going to talk to 5th place William Carrin to start off our post-race interviews. William Carrin, Cartledge up at the booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
What's going on, sir? You finished in the top 5 tonight, and it seemed like you had some high points throughout the race as well. Led some laps early on and definitely had some speed, but just seemed like when it was all said and done, the strategy just wasn't completely in your favor. Still on the top 5 grid, though, tonight. So talk us through your race.
It was long. Just a lot of tire fall off, and for some reason I couldn't mimic what I did in practice as far as tire wear goes. So just kind of rode around where I rode around at, and I thought maybe if I pit just a little early that I could get close enough to be able to sniff, but I was completely wrong because the guy I thought I was chasing wasn't even the one I was chasing. Ty snuck it up on us again. So
yeah, Ty Bostic also took 2 tires. Everybody else took 4, and he was still able to pull away. So I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he got some rocket vision or something. Dude.
I guess the league are gonna have to come up with something other than Dash for Cash. Gonna have to put a bounty on him or something. Treat him like they used to treat Kyle Busch in the Truck Series.
Exactly right. Maybe get a dream team. Everybody just on one team, and he's by himself every week, or something like that. But tell you what, he keeps winning. But you keep getting some solid results, keeping yourself up in the top 5 in the point standings. Maybe even closer to the podium tonight with Stephen Kirby not being present. So definitely a lot of high points early on for you, setting yourself up for a good second half of the year. What do you think you're going to have to do really to give that next step forward to possibly still fight for that championship later down the road?
And right now, I'm just trying to maintain staying in the top 5 in points. I think you're going to have to be there to have a shot at it. I don't really see a path lower than 5th to get up there and score enough points, especially the way the top 2 or 3 guys in the points rack off wins. So I think that was Ty's 5th win tonight. So he's definitely got the bonus points, and all that. So,
No, that's
but I
true as
mean, good
well.
for him, man. It's good competition. There's somebody to chase every week. I'm glad it's him and not somebody else. And so we'll just rack them up. I think we go to is it Pocono or Michigan next week?
Michigan.
I'm not sure. So we'll go hang it out there and see how she does. Hopefully get another top five.
Well, it finished in top five tonight. No complaints about that. Anybody want to shout out?
Shout out to the winner because he was also the winner of the Tommy's Dash tonight.
Yeah.
So he's got some iRacing credits coming his way. That re-enters him for next week, along with the rest of the top four. So um, hopefully somebody will beat him next week.
Yeah, hope so. Maybe it's you, bud. But for now, you finished fifth, and congrats on that. One spot shy of that dash for cash, but you'll have another shot next week. So until then, good luck, and we'll see you soon.
Yep, Pivotal, appreciate it, buddy.
And that was William Carrin. Now we're going to talk to fourth place, which tonight went to Zach Ward, your league owner, your pole sitter tonight, who at some points looked like he was the man to beat, but finishes in the top four this evening. Whoopsie. There we go. Gonna bring up Zach Ward. What's going on, Zach Ward? It's Cartledge up in the booth. You have a copy.
Yes, sir.
Well, you finished fourth tonight, and I was talking to William Carr and said he had some high notes, and you had some high notes as well. You started on the pole, led quite a few laps there throughout the race, and at some point throughout the race, it seemed like you could have been the man to win it all, but just finished fourth tonight after some green flag runs in the second and final stage, and some pit stop strategies from a few of the guys just prevailing tonight, and set yourself up in the fourth place position. And still a great result, but do you think there was anything you could have done differently to maybe get a few spots higher?
I mean, I don't think I really had anything for Ty and Jeff tonight. Just, I felt pretty good on the long runs, but the short runs, I just didn't. I was getting my doors blown off. I think I just went into save mode too early.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I try to throw a Hail Mary there at the end and just, run long and maybe catch a late yellow, trap some of those guys a lap down, or even, I mean, just have fresher tires there with it stacked back up. But yeah, it just didn't work out. I knew if I just, did what they did, I was just gonna run behind them. So figured I'd throw a little Hail Mary there at the end, and just didn't work out.
Yeah, and obviously you're top five in the point standing, so even though you're not top of the boards, and I'm sure you'd love to do that, you give yourself room to do some Hail Mary throws like that, and it still didn't really hurt you. Still finished in the top five. Some good points for you guys back at the shop. And tell you what, though, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked William with how Bostic's been doing recently and how a few other drivers have been doing week in, week out, a few spots better than you at certain times. What do you think you're going to have to do to really climb over that hill to really contend for this championship?
Well, I mean, Ty's obviously just cruising to the one seed once we reset. I mean, the wins just give you so many points. It's going to be hard to make up that ground because even when he doesn't win, he doesn't have bad weeks really.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm kind of more focused towards trying to get to that number two spot and just being consistent. I mean, nights like tonight where I started on the pole, so that's a couple bonus points. Led some laps. I almost had a 0x. I got stacked up there with Wes and Ryan Pittman there coming out of four, like halfway through the race. So I lost those bonus points, but I mean overall, yeah, just a really good, solid points night again. And I mean, if I can beat Ty anywhere, it's going to be at Michigan. So Michigan's probably
Really?
yeah. If it's not my best track, it's right there, one or two between there and Homestead. So.
What makes you so confident about Michigan and Homestead opposed to other intermediates? Is it just your just your style, just your place?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the O'Reilly car this season's been a little bit different. It's been just you got to drive it off the right front versus driving it off the right rear where you have in years past. And I just feel like Homestead and Michigan are two like worn out surfaces really where you could just kind of lay it on the right rear and drive it loose.
Yeah.
And that just I mean fits my driving style. And I mean those two races normally tend to go green. I'm usually pretty good at saving tires, so yeah, I mean definitely looking forward to next week.
Yeah, well, you finished fourth tonight, just barely snuck in to be a participant next week in the Tommy's Dash for Cash Week 2, so that's always a cool thing to be in, and obviously good points tonight for you guys and some good airtime as well, getting up in the top of the broadcast a few times in the P1 spot and finishing fourth. So anybody want to shout out back at home?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, just shout out to Tommy's for doing the Dash for Cash. I mean, any support that we get in this league is greatly appreciated. And shout out to my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, Caitlin and Christian. They're actually in the hospital right now trying to deliver my first niece.
Oh,
So
wow.
can't wait to meet little Ella Grace, and love you guys. I know you guys are
Wow.
watching, so
Well, Zach, you've had a crazy month or two, huh? A lot of cool
yeah, man.
stuff.
Me and my wife talk about it every week. We don't really, have chances to even breathe. We always got something going on,
Yeah,
so.
well, it's not a bad thing most of the time. So pretty cool to see all the stuff y'all are doing, and good talking to you as always. Hopefully, we'll see you back in Victory Lane soon. And until then, have a good rest of your week.
Yes, sir. You too, man. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. And that was Zach Ward finishing fourth tonight. Now we're going to talk to Wes Gallo, who finished third. Once again, a very solid result from the 07, which originally we were talking about him as a fringe top 10 driver, but once again showing up and showing out tonight on the podium. Let's bring him up. Wes Gallo, it's Cartilage up in the booth. You have a copy.
I sure do. How goes it?
Well, how's it going? Once again, a great result from you guys, and it seemed like a lot of stuff is just coming together recently. Originally when I was starting to broadcast, I was considering you as maybe a fringe or a lower top 10 driver, and over the last few weeks, you're starting to really come to life here. You got a surprise result last week off some good strategy at Charlotte, finishing P2, and was hoping you were going to finish one spot higher on the podium. Instead, you finished one spot lower on the podium, but still on the podium in third for another one of your highest career results so far tonight. And, back-to-back podium results like that in a field where a lot of drivers are pretty good, that's sure giving you a lot of confidence here in your race team.
Yeah, I mean we got plenty of momentum going right now. I mean this is turned into one of my better tracks. I mean this event last year I won, and I have one other career win in a different league here. Funny enough, they were both on strategy, so I kind of always joke that I was never really that good here, and for once actually run my way through the field purely on pace and got a solid P3, so that's good for momentum. And we go to Michigan, which is another track that I know I'm actually decent at. So
Wow.
So hopefully that's positive.
So a good stretch of races here for you could put you in the. Is it a chase or a playoffs? I forgot. Either way, it could put you in that situation to get into the this year's championship situation. Which with the reset, all it takes is some good results for you to get some good bonus points to be in contention. So
Yep. I started ice cold, and then we do have the chase. We're modeling it after the Cup one, and we're just plucking along, and I seem to be picking up roughly one spot a week in that. So I make my way into the playoffs and see if I can finish it with top 5. Who knows?
yeah, that would be something else. And we've seen that a lot of times, even in NASCAR, where a driver won't really show up until halfway through the regular season, and then they come up to sometimes even win the whole thing. So, just because you're starting that run now doesn't mean you still can't push for a deep playoff run, and maybe that's what you're going to do this season now with some good results in the last few weeks. And congrats on P3. Anybody want to shout out tonight?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll give some love to my family at home. They're always watching. They kind of huddle around the phone or the iPad and watch. So hi guys. And I got Week Designs on the car again, Equipment Geek, and obviously with the passing of Kyle Busch, as a designer who specializes in throwback schemes, we're going to be ripping throwbacks. If not me, one of my teammates will be running throwbacks the entire rest of the year. We went 2009 Nashville tonight. I won't have one next week, but Brandon will have a really nice one for Michigan next week. So
I love that idea, by the way. That's a really cool idea.
Thank you. Yeah, show some love in a way that a designer does. Throwbacks are my thing, so what better way to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and great way to honor Kyle Busch in that sense, and maybe that's why you're doing so good recently. You're getting some help behind the wheel, and
A little rowdy in me.
yeah, there you go, there you go. We'll tell you what, great result for you tonight. Hopefully we'll see you back on the podium. The only spot you have not gotten on the podium yet in that P1 position. And until then, we'll see you around.
We will talk to you again next week in an even better mood. Love it.
There we go. All right, we'll see you. And that was Wes Gallo. Now we're going to talk to the two best drivers tonight. First of all, that being Jeff Nairn. Tell you what a heartbreaker for him. I'm sure he's still very happy with his result, but what it could have been tonight was definitely something else. Let's go ahead and talk to your second place finisher in the 27 machine. Jeff Nairn, it's Cartledge up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you finished second tonight, so close to that first win on the year. And tell you what, I'm sure you love finishing second like this, but I'm sure you also, deep in your soul, probably got a bit of regret maybe not going for 2 tires like Bostic did, or at least a bit upset that you didn't win tonight, because what a great race you had. I mean, you got the stage 1 victory. You had the most laps led, I believe, unless Bostic took it from you at the end there. And overall, probably one of your best races this season so far. Just so close, yet have not been able to get that first career win. Talk us through your race, man.
Yeah, again, 2 weeks back to back and pretty decent run at Charlotte and then here tonight. It just ties racing smarter, so it doesn't matter how good you are on track for the first, 75-80% of the race. That being smart at the end's paying off for him. So, hey, kudos to him for that.
Yeah, we'll tell you what, every week this happens. This time, unfortunately to you, you could really learn something from it. Obviously, it seemed like nobody else was even thinking about taking 2 tires there, and Bostic did it, and he actually started pulling away from you guys with 2 tires, only on that race car. At least new tires, obviously. He didn't have just 2 tires on it. But, is this something that you're going to think about in the future? Maybe try some of your luck as well? Maybe try a different strategy to put you out in the front of the field?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's just timing the way it worked out. We had a lap car. I had a lap car that come out, pitted just 1 lap after me and come out ahead on me on track, and I just couldn't get around him, so it kept slowing me up.
Really?
If I had taken the 2 tires, obviously I would have had a little better track position. But I'd love to have seen what it would have been with the clear racetrack ahead of me, what 4 tires versus 2 would have been like. Could I have got to him and caught him, but not be able to pass him in that amount of time? I don't know, but I'd love to have given it a run,
So how long were you behind that lap machine for?
I think I got around him, and when he came out of pits, finally got around him with 2 to go.
Oh, no.
Pretty much run the whole.
Were you ever telling him, hey, get out of my way, man?
No, I thought maybe he would realize it after a little while, and, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to create conflict while we're running like that. It's just, I wouldn't do that. Looking back, you put yourself in a situation like that where the roles are reversed. What would you want done to you? So, maybe we'll all learn a little something from it, for the future.
Yeah, well, you could always learn something. I'm sure you can learn about strategy. Other guys can learn about whatever they need to learn about, it sounds like. And tell you what, though, still a great result for you and your race team, and hopefully that win is coming very soon, because it's true that you are the best driver this year without a win. So hopefully it is coming very soon for you guys in the 27 camp. And with that, anybody want to shout out tonight?
Yeah, well, I was just saying, congrats to Ty. I mean, we are teammates, so both of us finished in first and second, finishing like we are. All that's doing is helping us in the team point standing. So happy with that. So congrats to him, and like I do every time I get to talk to you guys, appreciate you doing what you're doing for the broadcast and those that run the league. Enjoy running with everybody, having a good time on Thursday nights.
Yeah, good time indeed, and hopefully it'll result in your first win here soon. And good
All
talking.
right, I like the way you're talking.
Yeah, no, that would be great for you guys, and hopefully it's coming next week. If not, very soon in the future. But good talking to you as always, and hopefully you'll be able to also get that Dasher Cash next week, since you're now in that one. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, we'll see you around, and until then, have a good rest of your week.
All right, thank you, Zach.
And now we're going to talk to your race winner, the 22 machine of Ty Bostic, getting it done like a broken record. Once again, your victor this evening. Gotta stop switching the screen before I update the text. Too eager to talk to your race winner, that's what it is. Well, sound like a broken record at this point, but Ty Bostic back in the booth winning tonight. How's it feeling, man?
That's pretty good. It's always a good time getting a win. Can't complain about it, and makes it a little more enjoyable. Would be your favorite track on top of that. I always enjoy running Nashville. It's always a good time running here. Tend to like the concrete tracks for some reason, but this is one that I always enjoy running the most.
Well, tell you what, I'll be honest with you. I was doubting you throughout most of the race, which I've learned tonight to never doubt you again, because obviously you know something else that nobody else does. But I was doubting you for most of the race. I mean, we saw you. Obviously, you started in the rear, so we can't, penalize you on that. But you started making your way through the field pretty fast, but you started idling out around the top 5. And you were around the top 5 for quite a bit of time. I don't think you ever cracked the podium until maybe about halfway. And then you cracked the podium, stayed in third for a bit, stayed in second for a bit. Seemed like it was Naren's night, and then all of a sudden, big explosion in our faces in the pit road cycle last time. Took a 2-tire stop, which I wasn't even thinking about 2 tires in the books for anybody. And it seemed like nobody else thought about it either, because nobody else took 2 tires. They all took 4. And even on 2 tires, you were able to pull away from the guys on 4 tires and win by about 5 seconds. So I'm sure that gives you a lot of confidence tonight.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I was setting up for the 2-tire strategies from before the next to last stop. I was trying to run it as long as I could. That way I could take as little fuel as possible on that last stop to be able to take 2, because I knew I was probably wanting to take 2. Top 5 or 7 guys or so are about equal all night long, so it's kind of hard to just outright outrun everybody. So yeah, I was trying to give myself a strategy that way I can spend as less time on pit road as possible and get myself some clean air. Car felt a lot better when you got some clean air on it, so I was giving myself a chance. And also, car cycled a little bit tight, so of course just going right side tires freed it up a little bit to drive a little bit more like how I wanted to drive. So it just kind of worked out all around to loosen up the car a little bit and spend a little less time on pit road to get out in the lead and try to keep it.
Yeah, well, so this is your 4th back-to-back win, or is it your 3rd back-to-back win? I think you've won 4 times in a row now, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't count that high, so you have to count for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, it's not a bad thing if you can't even count how much wins you have. So you got that going.
It's not that. It's just my low IQ.
Well, you got higher IQ than everybody else in the field, at least racing-wise, so you got that going for you. But tell you what, back in Victory Lane, it seems like we do this every week, but I'll ask you the same question I always do to wrap it up. Anybody want to shout out for your win tonight?
Yeah, same people always try to give a shout out to you for always putting the broadcast on. It's always a good time going back and watching it. All my family enjoys watching it too. You always do a great job highlighting all the action on the track and just showing off all the great guys running the league, what everybody's doing, all the good battles, all that good stuff. So shout out to you for putting it on. It's always a good time watching it. And shout out to the league. It's always a great time. A bunch of great guys to run with, both skill-wise and just personalities and all that stuff. It's always a good group of guys to run with and wind down the week with. So shout out to everybody that runs with us. It's always a good time. So
all right, well, we're going to schedule our appointment next week for the same time, same place, P1, as it seems like we've always had you in. And until then, hopefully have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you back from Michigan.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a good one.
All right, and that is going to conclude our post-race interviews. What a night from Nashville. One of those tracks you don't really see often on our streams, but it's coming up for NASCAR, and a lot of our leagues run with the NASCAR schedule, so no different tonight. Congrats, Ty Bostic, on the win. Broken record. Keep saying it. He's won more times than I can count, more times than even he can count. And he finds his way back to Victory Lane tonight. Once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. This was the Road to Pro Series at Nashville. We appreciate Tommy's Fire and Rescue coming on board. They'll be on board for many races in the next few weeks for the Dash for Cash. And as always, my name is Zachariah Cartlidge. We'll see all of you guys around. Have a good rest of your week. Peace.